Hey guys, thanks for joining me for another Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omni video, and today we are going to do a character guide on Sazh. Sazh is a character I've kind of wanted for a while. I wanted him on his initial LD release, but I wasn't in the best place with resources at the time, and I pumped like 200 tickets into his banner and didn't get it. So I haven't had him for a while, but I did pick him up on Irvine's banner actually. So I did go on some summons, and I was kind of in the situation where I'm actually good on resources, but Irvine is honestly not that great. But I did kind of want Sazh, and so I did like 200 tickets and picked up Sazh, so I kind of just stopped after that. But yeah, we'll go ahead and do a character guide on him. Sazh is a very, he was a god back in the 35 CP days. Like, he got his 35 CP early on Global, and he was like a god. But Sazh is basically a support-based character. The problem with Sazh now is that he's really overshadowed by characters like Ramza and Garnet. He's still very good, like very solid. There are just supports that are better than him, right? But if you like Sazh, like, you can definitely run him on a team and get some work done, right? So in this video, we'll go ahead, take a look at the spheres, the artifacts, and then we'll just jump into a quick little showcase. So we'll start with the artifacts. Pretty basic. So he's a character that you definitely want to go some attack on him. So attack 108 and then buff attack up 2-star is good if you want to go all attack. If you want to spread a little bit, you could go attack max brave on him. That could work as well. So I'd say between buff attack up, attack 108, and max brave 330, some combination of those should be fine. And then for the spheres, we'll hop in. So he's got 3 different spheres. He's got an A, a C, and a D slot. So he's got 3 different slots to use. A slot is pretty easy. You just want to go brave damage or attack. So I just went through Vonzon, just something I had extra. Attack by 4% if he's got full HP. You know, look at your spheres, whatever you got. He has range damage, so you could do like a range damage sphere if you wanted to. Anything that works based on the spheres that you have. But A spheres are really common, especially for refined ones. So if you've been playing for any length of time, you should just have a plethora of A spheres and just find something that's attack or brave damage and throw that on them, right? The C slot, mine actually isn't good. It's not the best one for him, but this is one that I put on ages ago. And it's a full sphere, and I don't want to waste it, and I don't have a slot remover. So I have that after granting a buff, it just does more battery, and then, you know, so I mean, it does help his battery. Like, Charlotta's isn't like the worst for him, but ideally you would want to go something that's more gonna like attack buff the party or something like that. So I know Alphanod is one that I bring up quite a bit that I think could do pretty well. Some people, I think Sazh could be an interesting character to do like Theodore on to add a little bit of healing. I think Roses does that also. So if you wanted to make like Sazh a little bit more of a full support character and put some healing on him, you can. Just keep in mind the healing from the sphere, it's probably not going to be enough to cover like what a full healer would do. You might still have to bring another healer with you, but if you want to have that utility of a little bit of healing, it's definitely something you could throw on him, right? And then the D slot, Sazh does a lot of buffing. He does a little bit of debuffing too, but he does a lot of buffing. So Waka's sphere, I think, could work, or just another attack boosting sphere. So it just depends on what your preference is, but I went ahead and put Waka's on them. So that's what I've got for spheres and artifacts. So we'll just hop into a quick little showcase here. I am going to hop in on Irvine's Lufenia Plus here. We're going to see if I can't just get my clear done in the character guide, and we might call this a 2-for-1. We'll see. The other thing I might do too is I might just finish, depending on how long it's taking, I might just finish it off camera. Sure, let's bring a Laguna friend. Because the orb requirement is range damage is one of them. So we've got Laguna and Sazh and Irvine. Like, that's what they're selling, right? That's the team comp they want you to bring. I'm substituting Irvine out for Garnet just to do Garnet things. And I'm thinking between the other 2 range damage dealers, we should have enough range damage. But I am hopping in pretty blind here. But we're going to kind of kill 3 birds with one stone. We're going to get the character guide in, get the Lufenia clear video in potentially, and then also get the Ultima Core for Sazh's Lufenia. We'll see. I'm kind of hopping into this one blind. I didn't like read the whole thing very clearly, so there could be some mechanics that are going to screw me over here, but we'll see. So Laguna, we're going to hop in. I like getting Desperado on right away to get those follow-ups going. So we're going to go ahead and do that, and then we're going to hop in and talk about Sazh. So Sazh is primarily a support character, so don't expect a ton of damage out of him. His EX does do very decent damage, but other than that, he's basically a lot of like attack, brave damage, cap up support, things like that is what he's going to be doing, right? So the first thing we'll talk about is attack boost. So attack boost is his 35 CP. It's going to give him a free turn, so we can just toss that out. And then he is going to get an attack afterwards. So you can see 125k, nothing crazy, but you pair it with some Laguna follow-ups, and then those free turns are going to be looking pretty good, right? And then Garnet looks like she's shoved in front here. But he should get a free turn with that. So that's interesting that Garnet pushed in front there. I mean, it wouldn't be a showcase if something didn't act how I wasn't expecting it to, right? That's okay. That's fine. We'll let Garnet just kind of do her thing here. Let's go ahead and I guess we'll throw an extra debuff on here, sure. And then we'll get back to Sazh here. Okay, we'll do that. Yep. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and let's throw on the AA. And then we'll do Garnet's burst attack. Try to make Sazh look really good here, right? Laguna, I mean, Laguna is really good as well. I mean, you could go out and say, like, Garnet Ramza Laguna might be one of the better teams you can run. I know Garnet Ramza Zach, a lot of people have been abusing that combo. That's a pretty ridiculous combo, right? All right, so let's go ahead and throw some Divine Judgment down. Get the burst effect up. We'll go from there. So Sazh, basically all you're really doing with him is you're kind of rotating his attacks to maintain buffs. You can use the AA, which is basically just a generic like attack or party buff type AA. You could do that before maybe going into a burst phase with another character, something to just kind of maximize that out, right? His 15 isn't something you're going to use a lot. It does give him a buff that you might want to maintain. It has guaranteed hits, but that really doesn't come into play often. So his aim and I believe his EX do guaranteed hits. So if in the future they do some really annoying boss that dodges a lot, or like if you get blind or whatever, like Sazh can actually get around that. But it's honestly a pretty useless mechanic. So I wouldn't really worry about that too much. Let's go ahead and throw Sazh's LD down. So the LD, what that's going to do, it's going to give him a free ability use on his next turn. It does a lot of AoE damage, and then it gives him a really important aggression buff. So usually what I like to do is lead with attack boost to get the free turn and then go into LD. I don't know why my free turn didn't trigger. Maybe I missed something or did something wrong, or maybe because I use Tomberry Troop too when I go through these guides. So the guide on Tomberry Troop could be off. I mean, they do make some errors here and there, so that could be it. But either way, getting the LD early is good because you do want the aggression buff. It just basically, the aggression buff just does a ton of party support, ton of party buffs, basically every stat. So you want to keep that aggression buff upkept as much as possible. So just make sure you're using the LD to refresh that, right? We're going to go ahead and let's go ahead and LD here with Laguna. And then we're going to get the nice LD follow-ups along with the Desperado follow-ups. So the damage is going to be looking pretty good here. Okay. We'll let the enemies get a turn, see what they're going to be looking like here. They're going to make us pay or not. Okay, nothing too bad there. Got a debuff. But yeah, Sazh is fairly simple. I mean, basically with Sazh, like I said, get the LD buff up right away. Then kind of hover between this 15 and this 35 to get those buffs going. And then usually with Sazh, you want to use the EX when it's up because the EX is quite powerful. And that is what keeps his overhead. So you see the 4 stacks of his overhead buff there. That's going to refresh that at 6 buffs. So the EX is definitely a good button to press, especially with C90, right? All right, so let's go with Sazh here. Okay, so we'll go ahead and we'll do his AA, which is Advance All. So you can see Party Attack, Party Brave Limit, Party Brave Damage Dealt. So once again, just a good generic Party AA. So let's go and throw that on. Okay, and then we've got the EX. So this is Cold Blood, the EX. So we'll pop that off. We should see some pretty good damage here. His EX has always felt like a really good button to press. They've done pretty well with that EX throughout. Yeah. So 800k AoE. That's a pretty strong EX attack. So definitely looking very good there. And once again, that refreshes overhead. And then it does do a speed down on the enemy. So he, like I said, he does scatter a few debuffs in there. His aim plus, which we haven't done yet, that's his 15. That's going to do an attack down and a defense down. And that gives him just a couple of generic buffs as well, right? So we'll go ahead and get the Sazh one more time here. And then honestly, I mean, we got the enemies already down to like 50%. We have enough range damage that we're doing just fine. This honestly hasn't been a very threatening Lufenia. So yeah, nothing too bad here. We'll go ahead and throw a grenade down just because we haven't done that in a while. Or at all. We'll do that. So what I'll do is I'll do one more turn with Sazh. And then basically we can just go into burst phase and kind of ride it from there. But it's pretty basic. Sazh is a character that just kind of sits there, you upkeep the buffs, and you're good to go, right? So we did the LD, we did that. We did the 35, which is the attack boost. Okay, so it must just be, hold on, let me just double check here. Okay, it's high turn rate. So on Tonberry, it says free turn, but it's actually just high turn rate. So attack boost, you can't just spam it back to back. So that's good to note right there. So that was just a mistake on my part. I'm saying it that way. So it's high turn rate. So I would actually lead LD because attack boost is not going to guarantee him another free turn. So use LD first, and then just use attack boost periodically when you need to upkeep the party's buffs. And then I'll show you aim right here. So aim, like I said, it does do a little bit more damage than it used to, right? 300k, that's decent. Once again, guaranteed hits, and then it does the attack down, defense down on the enemy, and then once again, an attack up, defense up on Sazh. So just some basic stuff there. So basically, you're looking at the EX as your main attack with Sazh, and then you're just going between the 15, 35, and LD to upkeep your buff. So he's a very easy character to play. You just kind of watch it like that, and you should be good to go. So that's basically it for Sazh's character guide, but we'll continue the video because we'll get the Lufenia clear in here, probably no problem. So we'll have Laguna just let's do a debuff damage up because there's plenty of debuffs out there. And then let's just hop into Laguna's burst. My guess is these guys are going to basically be toasted by the time we finish this burst phase. So let's start with an EX with Laguna. We'll finish this off, and we'll have our Irvine, Intersecting Wills, Lufenia plus clear here. Although the one thing I didn't check that could mess up this run, I'll still upload this run, but they did throw me off. I don't remember if it was the last Intersecting Wills or if it was a different one, but they went through a crystal color in on there, and they don't ever do that, so I don't look for it. And I completed it and didn't have the crystal color, so hopefully they didn't toss a crystal color in there on me, because I'm sure it's going to be Irvine's color, and I don't know that I have that, because I don't remember off the top of my head. Actually, Irvine and Sazh might be the same color, so I might be okay. But I'm going to guess that they don't have the crystal color. Oh, wow. They let this orb count up really high. They're at 32. They normally don't let the orbs... Oh, I see. You get the 35 to cancel it. Okay. I was going to say, they don't normally let the orbs go that high. But see, that's really cool when they have that mechanic, because then let's say I just wanted to bring Laguna and then no other ranged. You could just hop into a Laguna burst right away and probably pop that orb up to 35 or pretty close to it just through the burst. Because they're getting like +3 per ranged attack, I believe. So it's pretty conceivable you could just like eliminate the orb. But yeah, these guys are both going to be done. So there you go, guys. Our Lufenia clear. I mean, we got to finish through the burst phase here, but we could have gone into the burst phase even earlier and cleared it. So you know that we're in garbage time when I'm just casually doing like a character guide. And not only are we finishing the Lufenia, we're doing it basically in like 10 turns. Not really trying to optimize. We're really just trying to get to the character's turn, show them off, show off their skill, and then we got it, right? So we'll let this Desperado go, and we'll call it a video from there. But it is good for newer players, I think, to be able to jump in and get some Lufenia clears right away. Like, nothing wrong with that. And there have been some global, like, exclusive Lufenias that they've thrown in that have actually been a little bit more challenging, which is good that they're mixing that up. And then we've got Force Weapon time coming with Shinryu, and they'll bring the difficulty back up. So anyways, guys, there you go. Let me know what you think of Sazh. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you all on the next one.